Chapter 7. Swapnam, Sushupti and Jagratha. Swamiji. You said that the mental imagery gives rise to forms, and so the various forms are nothing but mental imageries taking shapes. I have not able to comprehend this. There is no reality in what we see or hear or perceive. I have stated several times before this that all these originated from ourselves, and that all these could be merged within ourselves. The seeming reality of the things that we hear, see, and perceive are just like mere dream forms. Pardon me Swamiji in anticipating you. Do you say that all these things are mere dreams? I am not sleeping now. We see dreams only when we are sleeping. Then how can all these be said to be mere dreams? Oh. Do you think that you are awake now? Not at all. You are now sleeping. And in your slumber you are hearing, seeing and perceiving all these as mere dreams. Swamiji. How can it be like this? When I am sleeping I do not know anything. Now I am awake. Such being the case, who can believe that we are sleeping now and that we see all these as mere dreams? You say you are now awake from your sleep. What do you call this state? Jagrath, waking state. How many states are there? 3. What are they? 1 Jagrath, waking state, 2 Swapna, dreaming state, and 3 Sushupti, sleeping state. Now what state did you say you are in? Jagrath, waking state. What do you mean by this? The state of being self-conscious. Do you really mean to say that you are self-conscious? Yes. I am self-conscious. Then will you not know the self within you? Yes. So have you known yourself? That I have not. You say you have not known yourself. Then how can you say you are self-conscious? No. I cannot say that I am self-conscious. Without being self-conscious, can you speak of Jagrath, state of wakefulness? No. If you are not awake, then, what state would that be? Sushupti. What is this state Sushupti? Sleeping state. So you speak of being in sound sleep. When you are in the so-called sound sleep, do you have any idea that you are sleeping? No. In the same manner you are now sleeping, and so you do not have any feeling that you are sleeping. When I was sleeping, I did not feel anything. It is only now I see all these. What is this due to? When you are sleeping, don't you get dreams? Yes. I see dreams. Then do you actually feel that you are only sleeping and what you see are only mere dreams? No. When you were dreaming, what was the state of feeling that you had? I was thinking that I was wide awake and that I was actually enjoying all that occurred to me in the dream. But when you woke up, what was the state of your feeling? I found out that I was only sleeping and all that I saw were only mere dreams. In the same manner we are now sleeping. All that we see about us is none the more real than the things that we see in dreams. It is only when we wake up, we become aware that what we saw were not real things, but only mere dreams. Now I understand that this state is the sleeping state, and that these are all dreams. But what about the states generally spoken of as sleep and dreams? The so-called sleep and the awakening from it is also a dream, but it is not actual sleep or awakening from it. But I actually sleep and dream, and such being my experience, how can this be accepted? I shall explain the state of what you generally call sleep and dream. Imagine you have a workshop, a mile away from your house. While you are actually in the workshop premises, you see as far as your eyes could see, and hear as far as your ears could hear. But when you leave the said workshop and come back home, do you hear and see or perceive anything that actually takes place in the workshop? No. T. Why not? Dis. Because I can't see anything that takes place in the workshop. T. Why so? Dis. Because I am in my house and not in the workshop. T. When you come away to your house from the workshop, you don't see or hear anything of what takes place there. So, do you say you are sleeping? Dis. No. T. This body of ours is the world. Its bottom portion is the workshop and the upper portion is the house. But is the earth where the workshop is situated separate from the one in which the house is situated? Dis. No, it is one and the same. But, in one part there is the house and in another there is the workshop. T. In this same manner, this world is like a workshop. When you are in the so-called sleep you are actually away in your home, from the workshop. When you are in your home you are not able to know or hear anything in the workshop. This is what is generally called sleep. But this is not the actual sleep. This is only a suspension of work. Who is it that was in the workshop? Who is it that sees, hears, and knows in you? Dis. My mind. T. Without this mind can you see, hear or know anything? Dis. No. T. Then whom should you think that was in the workshop? Dis. The mind. T. When this mind comes back from its workshop to its own home can you call that state sleep? Dis. No. T. What should you call it? Dis. Suspension of work. T. Now think of a man spreading his wares for sale and doing business the whole day in front of his shop. When the business is over, the man takes all his wares into his shop, closes the doors and remains inside. At that time did he have any transaction? Dis. No. T. At that time what was the state of his business? Dis. His business was suspended. T. In the same manner the mind is a businessman. This businessman deals in goods like thoughts. He suspends his business and locks his wares inside. His wares are thoughts and imaginations. This state of suspension is ordinarily understood as sleep. But this is not sleep. It is only a suspended activity of the mind. The real sleep is now. Dis. Swamiji. If sleep be now, what about the dreams that we get when we are in that state which is commonly called the sleep? Unless we are in sleep how can we get dreams? So what are these dreams? T. It is a mistake to think that we will never get dreams, unless we are in sleep. We will never dream, if we are in sleep. When you see dreams you can be sure you are not in sleep. The dreams are only like this. Don't you recollect what all took place in your shop after you have come back to your own house closing the same? Dis. Yes, I recollect. T. At that time if you were asleep is it possible to recollect those things? Dis. No. T. Can you call that state as dreams? Dis. No. T. What should you call it? Dis. I must call that a state of recollection of things done, and anticipation of things to be done. T. When and where are you doing that? Dis. In my own house after work. T. That is right. What you call sleep is only a suspension of work when you are in your own abode. When you are thus free, the recounting of what all the mind did, goes by the name of the so-called dreams. It is only common when you return home after work for you to think about what all you did and about what all you should do. In the same manner the mind after leaving the world, its workshop, recollects what all it saw, heard and knew. This is commonly known as dream. But it is not the real dream. It is only as a suspension of the activity of the mind from its workshop and a review of all that took place there. Can we call these dreams? Dis. No. T. Not only that. In the dream do you get anything that does not come into your knowledge and experience ever since your birth and up to the time of the so-called dream? Dis. Yes. We do see. T. No. You can never dream of anything about which you have never seen, heard or thought of. You dream of Asia, Africa, America, Australia, Benares, Rameswaram, Kishkinda, Ayodhya, Haridwar, Satya Lokam, Hell, heaven, flying upward, jumping into the sea, jumping into the fire, attacked by a tiger, attacked by a leopard, charged by an elephant, bit by a serpent, fall from a tree, boarding a ship, running, falling, mother's death, father's death. Child falling into the well, travel by a train, fighting in the war. Getting wounded, getting into a scrape, breaking the head. Breaking the hand, losing one eye, committing suicide by hanging, getting employed, becoming a traitor and so on. In these, is there one item about which you have not either seen, heard or known since you are born? No. Therefore the so-called dreaming state is that of the mind when it suspends its external activities and begins to recollect all that it had seen, heard or known. But this is not the real dream. The experience of our present existence is the real dream. Swamiji. The present experience, existence, is said to be a dream. But we don't have such long dreams when we are asleep. This experience of our existence is only short-lived. Do you doubt that the so-called dream is not longer in duration than the present experience of life? Yes. This experience of life is longer than the dreams we get in sleep. But you are not in your lifetime experiencing what all you experience in 1 minute of your dreams. The occurrences in dream cover a longer period of time than the span of the life period itself. The experience of the occurrence in life is only a short-lived one. What do you think to be the duration of the dream when you experience the several events in your sleep? It is only of a short duration, a minute or two. But during this short period you have before you, the experience of innumerable number of years. For example, you dream, the mother died, the father died, performed the funeral ceremonies at Rameswaram and Tirunelveli, were born on such and such a date, became 60 years of age, performed the Sashtipurti, 60th year ceremony, got an attack of paralysis, and then got wounded, got convicted, became king, died in such and such a place, was born again in such and such a place, became known as such and such a person, met such and such a person, both went and slept in such and such a place and so on. Like this we experience the events of several years, all the events appearing to be real. Sometimes we even burst out in tears and feel a good deal distressed. Now when you woke up, tell me, have you in fact undergone any such thing in actual experience? No. Within what time did all these take place? Within a minute or so. In this minute how many years, experience was it that was brought out before you? The experience of several ages. So, which dream is the long-lived one? The so-called dreams which we experience while we are said to be sleeping. We are all sleeping now, and all the experience of our life, of having a world, of having parents, of birth and death, of getting old, etc. are only dreamy occurrence in this sleeping state of ours. When we wake up from this sleep we come to know that we were only dreaming in our sleep. We are in sleep now and all that we see, hear or know are all dreams. Such experiences are unreal. This sleep itself is ignorance because the reality is hidden and unrevealed. Swamiji, generally people say, I slept soundly, I did not know anything. This we say after waking up from sleep. In this, is there not some body behind all these experiences who knows of our having slept and of our having not known anything then? This suggestion is absurd. After going to bed, till you got sleep, you know you were lying down to sleep, and after waking up you know that you were sleeping. But while you were actually sleeping, did you have any idea that you were so sleeping? No. After waking up, you took it for granted that you were sleeping. But can you really distinguish a state of sleep from a state of swoon? That I cannot. When we are asleep, or in a swoon, or is in epileptic fits or in delirium or under chloroform, do we have any conception of recollection of the world? No. What are these states like? They are just like sleep. So the state of sleep is a state where the knowing factor is subconscious. Can you say who this knowing factor in us is? Dis, the Brahma, the self within. T, when we are ignorant, what is that state called? Dis, Maya. T, so in what state are we now? Dis, in a state of Maya. T, so what has Maya come to mean? Dis, a state of sleep or ignorance. T, so this world that we experience is a dreamy existence that we get in our sleepy ignorance, which is Maya. When we wake up from this Maya, we get enlightenment. This enlightenment is called Jagrath. This Jagrath is the omniscient state. There is no ego of I or you in this. The eternal is revealed. This is the state of Jagrath. We are not in that state now.